Greetings, my dear friends. Today I would like to take you on a journey through one of the most important and exciting periods of history, the Middle Ages. It was a time of great change, wars, and discoveries. From the fall of the Roman Empire to the golden age of Byzantium, from the birth of Islam to the Vikings ravaging Europe, the history of the Middle Ages is like an adventure novel. Together we will explore the key events of this period, discover historical figures, and understand how the Middle Ages shaped Europe and the world. Are you ready? So let's start to open the dusty pages of history and discover the mysterious world of the Middle Ages. Let's start our story by telling about the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire. A powerful and glorious empire that once ruled the Mediterranean and beyond. Its story is an epic adventure, starting from a small village founded by the legendary Romulus and Remus on the banks of the Tiber River, and growing over the centuries into an empire that spanned Europe, Africa, and much of Asia. This empire influenced the world not only with its military power, but also with its culture, philosophy, and legal system. Many Roman legacies are still in use today, such as the Latin language, Roman law, and architecture. So how was this glorious empire built, and how did it fall? Let's take a brief history of the Roman Empire together. In the 8th century BC, two brothers named Romulus and Remus decided to build a city on the banks of the Tiber River. According to legend, Romulus kills Remus and becomes the sole ruler of the city and names it Rome. Rome soon becomes a powerful city-state and expands its territory by fighting neighboring tribes. In 509 BC, the Romans overthrew the kingdom and established the Republic. During this period, Rome is ruled by the Senate and the popular assembly. The Roman army expands the boundaries of the empire, conquering the Mediterranean and beyond. In the 1st century BC, Julius Caesar becomes dictator, causing civil wars in Rome. Caesar increases Rome's power by conquering Egypt. After Caesar is assassinated, Augustus becomes the first emperor of Rome. Under Augustus, Rome experiences a period of peace called Pax Romana, Roman peace. Art, literature, and architecture flourish during this period. In the 3rd century BC, the Roman Empire is divided into two. These two empires, called the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire Byzantium, were ruled independently of each other. The Western Roman Empire collapses in the 5th century due to barbarian invasions. The Eastern Roman Empire survives until the 15th century. The Roman Empire had a profound impact on European and world history. The Latin language, Roman law, and architecture are still used today. The Christian religion also spread in the Roman Empire. The story of the Roman Empire is a story of rise and fall. The success and failure of this empire teaches us many lessons. The Roman Empire. A powerful and glorious empire that once dominated the Mediterranean and beyond. But like all empires, the Roman Empire sooner or later collapsed. There was no single cause for this collapse. Many factors came together to bring about the end of the empire. Today we will look at some of the key factors that led to the fall of the Roman Empire. This time I will go into even more detail, telling the story of how each factor affected the empire and contributed to its downfall. Migrations and pressures of Germanic tribes from the north began to migrate towards the borders of the Roman Empire. These migrations posed a great threat to the empire. The Germanic tribes fought wars against the Roman armies and captured the empire's lands. Armies that had once been used to protect Rome's borders now had to fight Germanic tribes. This weakened the empire's military power and made it harder for it to defend its borders. Civil wars and struggles for the throne. The late Roman Empire was characterized by political instability. Emperors were frequently assassinated and replaced by their successors. This led to civil wars and power struggles in the empire. Civil wars weakened the empire and led to discontent among the people. People began to care less about who was emperor and the future of the empire. Administrative weakness and bureaucratic corruption. The administration of the Roman Empire weakened over time and the bureaucracy deteriorated. Emperors began to be ruled by incompetent administrators. Bureaucrats became involved in crimes such as bribery and corruption. This negatively affected the functioning of the empire and created a perception of injustice among the people. People began to lose trust in the empire and its rulers. Difficulties in defending borders. The borders of the Roman Empire were very wide and long. This made it difficult to defend the borders. Migrations of Germanic tribes and increasing barbarian attacks made it even more difficult for the empire to defend its borders. The empire did not have enough soldiers and resources to protect its borders. This led to the weakening and collapse of the empire. Economic decline and changes in trade routes. The economy of the Roman Empire weakened over time. Wars, corruption, and changes in trade routes affected the economy negatively. As trade routes became unsafe and new trade routes emerged, Rome's economy weakened. Economic weakness led to poverty and hunger among the people. People began to express their dissatisfaction with the empire and the rulers. Difficult living conditions of peasants and peasant uprisings. The living conditions of peasants became more difficult over time. Taxes increased and lands were taken over by large landowners. This led to discontent among the peasants. Peasants organized uprisings to improve their living conditions. These uprisings weakened the empire and created chaos and disorder among the people. Decline of slavery and changes in social structure. Slavery played an important role in the Roman Empire. Slaves were employed in fields, mines, and houses, but over time slavery began to decline. This had a negative impact on the Roman economy and led to changes in the social structure. The decrease in slaves created a labor shortage in agriculture and industry. This led to a decrease in production and an increase in prices. In addition, the decrease in slaves caused unemployment in some professions. There were also important changes in the social structure. The emancipation of slaves led to the emergence of a new social class. This new class was a class between slaves and free citizens and was called colony. The colony had to work for the landowners and had certain obligations to the landowners. But colony were not as free as slaves and were deprived of some rights. The spread of Christianity and the strengthening of the church. Christianity began to spread rapidly in the Roman Empire. Christians opposed paganism, the official religion of Rome. This led to tensions between Christians and pagans. Christians were persecuted and many Christians were martyred. But over time Christianity grew stronger and became the official religion of the empire. The spread of Christianity led to important changes in Roman society. Christianity brought a new perspective on the family and traditional values. This disturbed some Romans and led to reactions against Christianity. But Christianity also provided a new source of hope and unity in the empire. Even in the decline of the empire, Christians did not lose hope and continued to believe in a better future. The fall of the Roman Empire was not caused by a single factor. Economic problems, political instability, weakening military power, moral decline, the rise of Christianity, and the strengthening of the Church all came together to bring about the end of the empire. There are many lessons we can learn from the fall of the Roman Empire. For an empire to remain strong, it must have economic stability, political stability, and a strong army. It is also important to preserve moral values and ensure unity and solidarity in society. The Roman Empire. A powerful and glorious empire that once ruled the Mediterranean and beyond. But like all empires, the Roman Empire eventually fell. This collapse changed not only the end of the empire, but also the course of European and world history. The effects of the fall of the Roman Empire were not limited to Europe. It led to a series of important events that affected the whole world. Economic decline and decline in trade. The fall of the Roman Empire led to an economic collapse in Europe. Wars, corruption, and barbarian attacks led to a decline in trade and a contraction of economic activity. Political instability and division. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered a period of political instability and division. Small kingdoms and feudal principalities emerged, and there were constant wars between these kingdoms. Social changes. The fall of the Roman Empire led to significant changes in European society. The slavery system weakened and a new social class, the serfs, emerged. The system of feudalism became dominant in Europe. Cultural decline. The fall of the Roman Empire also led to a cultural decline in Europe. There was a significant decline in the fields of art, literature, and science. The knowledge and experience of ancient Rome was largely lost. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered a new period called the Middle Ages. This period lasted from the 5th century to the 15th century and was a time of great change. At the beginning of the Middle Ages, Europe was characterized by political instability and division. But over time, a new order began to emerge. Powerful kingdoms emerged, such as the Frankish kingdom and the Carolingian Empire, and these kingdoms tried to ensure unity in Europe. In addition, Christianity began to spread in Europe, and the Church became an important power. The Church also played an important role in education, culture, and art. The Roman Empire also made an important contribution to the culture of the Middle Ages. Rome's legal system, architecture, language, and literature had a great influence on medieval Europe. Roman law became the most important legal system in medieval Europe. Roman law emphasized concepts such as justice and equality, and these concepts also played an important role in medieval Europe. Roman architecture also had an important influence on medieval Europe. Structures such as Rome's churches, temples, and bridges inspired buildings built in medieval Europe. Language. Latin was the official language of the Roman Empire and became one of the most important languages in medieval Europe. Latin was used as the language of the Church and the language of science. Literature. Roman literature was also an important influence in medieval Europe. The works of Roman writers such as Virgil, Ovidius, and Cicero were among the most important works read and studied in medieval Europe. The Roman Empire had a profound impact on European and world history. The fall of this glorious empire marked the beginning of a new era in Europe, but Rome's legacy lives on in medieval Europe and today. In our series of medieval stories, after the Roman Empire, Rome's heir, the Byzantine Empire, takes center stage. The Byzantine Empire. A glorious empire that emerged after the fall of the Roman Empire and lasted for 1,000 years. This empire was also known as the Eastern Roman Empire, and its capital was Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. The Byzantine Empire was an empire where Christianity was the official religion and Greek and Roman culture had a strong influence. The Byzantines produced important works of art, architecture, literature, and philosophy. Byzantine law and Byzantine diplomacy were also highly developed at that time. The Byzantine Empire fought many wars and won many victories throughout its history. It was able to withstand many powerful enemies such as Arab conquerors, Slavs, Bulgarians, and Normans. So, how was this glorious empire founded and how did it fall? Let's take a look at a brief history of the Byzantine Empire together. A foundation of the Byzantine Empire. In 395 BC, the Roman Empire was divided into two. These two empires, called the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, began to be ruled independently of each other. The Eastern Roman Empire later became known as the Byzantine Empire. The founder of the Byzantine Empire is considered to be Emperor Theodosius I, 379 to 395. Theodosius took important steps to Christianize the empire and reorganized it. The Golden Age of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire enjoyed its golden age from the 5th to the 7th century. During this period, the empire became the most powerful state in the Mediterranean and dominated a vast geography. Emperor Justinian I, 527 to 565, has an important place among the emperors of the Golden Age of the Byzantine Empire. Justinian expanded the borders of the empire, established important laws, and rebuilt the empire. Byzantine art, architecture, and literature also showed a significant development during this period. Decline of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire began to decline in the 7th century. Arab conquerors took Syria, Egypt, and North Africa from the Byzantines in the 7th century. In the 11th century, the Seljuk Turks conquered Anatolia. The Byzantine Empire also suffered a significant loss of power during the Crusades. In the 13th century, Constantinople was sacked during the Fourth Crusade, and the Byzantine Empire temporarily disappeared. The Byzantine Empire was re-established in 1261 with the recapture of Constantinople. But this empire never regained its former power. In 1453, the Byzantine Empire came to an end when Constantinople was conquered by the Ottoman Empire. The legacy of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire had a profound impact on European and world history. The Byzantines produced important works of art, architecture, literature, philosophy, law, and diplomacy. The legacy of the Byzantine Empire is still alive today. Justinian I, one of the most important emperors in Byzantine history. This wise and ambitious emperor ascended the throne in 527 and succeeded in revitalizing the Byzantine Empire. But Justinian's rise to the throne was not easy. Before listening to this story, it is important to understand what the Byzantine Empire was like at the time. In the late 5th century, the Byzantine Empire was going through hard times. The empire was plagued by civil wars and rebellions. The treasury was empty, the army weakened, and the economy collapsed. In addition, the empire was threatened by attacks from barbarian tribes. In this chaos, a young man named Justinian stepped forward. Justinian was born in the Macedonian town of Tauresium and received a good education. He specialized in law and philosophy, and played an important role in the administration of the empire. In 527, Emperor Justinian I died, leaving no heir to the throne. This led to a power struggle in the empire. However, Justinian's supporters managed to proclaim him emperor. Justinian I, one of the most important emperors not only in Byzantine history but also in world history. When this wise and ambitious leader ascended the throne in 527, he found the Byzantine Empire on the brink of collapse. But with his grit and determination, Justinian was able to revitalize the empire and restore it to its golden age. Justinian was born in 483 in a town called Tauresium, modern Skopje. His father Sebastius was a peasant and his mother Vigilantia was from a noble family. Justinian received a good education during his childhood and specialized in law, philosophy, and theology. Justinian was a young man noted for his intelligence and diligence. In 507, he traveled to Constantinople, the capital of the empire, where he assumed important roles in the administration of the empire. In 527, Emperor Justinus I died, leaving no heir to the throne. This led to a power struggle in the empire. However, Justinian's supporters managed to proclaim him emperor. Justinian was 44 years old when he ascended the throne. This wise and ambitious emperor set himself the goal of revitalizing the Byzantine Empire and restoring it to its former glory. To achieve this goal, Justinian made important reforms in many areas. Justinian was an intelligent and charismatic leader. He was also a man who attached great importance to the development of art and culture. Justinian and his wife Theodora supported many artists and scientists and made Constantinople the most important cultural center of the empire. Justinian also had some weaknesses. For example, he tried to establish absolute control over the empire, which led to some opposition. He also tried to implement some reforms too quickly and rigidly, and this caused some problems. Justinian I, one of the most important emperors not only in Byzantine history but also in world history. When this wise and ambitious leader ascended the throne in 527, he found the Byzantine Empire on the brink of collapse. But with his grit and determination, Justinian was able to revitalize the empire and restore it to its golden age. One of Justinian's most important reforms was to reorganize the Byzantine legal system. The Corpus Juris Civilis, which came into force during this period, was a comprehensive legal code based on the basic principles of Roman law and contributed to ensuring justice and order in the empire. It is an important work that is still valid today and forms the basis of many modern legal systems. The Corpus Juris Civilis consists of 4 main books: Institutions and Introduction to the Basic Principles of Roman Law. Digesta, a collection of legal decisions compiled from the works of Roman jurists. Codex, a corpus of laws including the laws of Justinian and previous emperors. Novellae, a book containing new laws enacted during Justinian's reign. The Corpus Juris Civilis was used for centuries in the Byzantine Empire and in Europe. These laws made a significant contribution to the development of modern legal systems. Justinian also reorganized the administrative system of the Byzantine Empire. During this period, the imperial bureaucracy was made more modern and efficient. The merit system was encouraged and talented people were included in the bureaucracy. In addition, new tax systems and financial control mechanisms were established throughout the empire. These reforms contributed to making the Byzantine Empire a stronger and more stable state. Justinian reaffirmed Christianity as the official religion of the empire and tried to strengthen the church through church reforms. During this period, he tried to achieve unity among the different Christian denominations in the empire. However, Justinian's most important religious reform was the fight against monophysitism. Monophysites believed that Jesus Christ had a single nature. This belief was considered heresy by Orthodox Christianity. Justinian took many steps to suppress monophysitism and persecuted monophysite believers. These religious reforms led to some tensions and divisions in the Byzantine Empire. However, Justinian's goal was to achieve religious unity in the empire, and he largely succeeded. The reign of Justinian I was one of the most brilliant periods of the Byzantine Empire. This wise and ambitious emperor managed to revitalize the empire, expand its military power and territory, modernize the legal system, achieve religious unity, and develop the economy. The works built during Justinian's reign are among the finest examples of Byzantine art and architecture. Justinian I is remembered as one of the most important leaders, not only in Byzantine history, but also in world history. Belisarius, one of the greatest generals in Byzantine history. This talented and brave commander played an important role in the reorganization of the Byzantine army during the reign of Justinian I and in reclaiming the lost territories of the empire. One of Belisarius' most important achievements was his victory over the Vandals. The Vandals were one of the Germanic tribes in the 5th century. Taking advantage of the weakening of the Roman Empire, the Vandals invaded North Africa in 409 and established the Vandal Kingdom. The Vandal Kingdom became one of the most powerful states in the Mediterranean. However, the Vandals were known for their barbaric attitude towards Roman civilization and Christianity. In 530, Justinian I commissioned Belisarius to conquer the Vandal kingdom. Belisarius was sent to North Africa with a small army. However, thanks to Belisarius' intelligence, courage, and military tactics, the Byzantine army won important victories against the Vandals. Belisarius' first success was the defeat of the Vandal king Gelimer at the Battle of Decimum in 533. After this victory, Belisarius captured Carthage and other important Vandal cities. In 534, the Vandals were completely defeated and the Vandal kingdom was destroyed. Belisarius' conquest of the Vandal kingdom contributed significantly to the Byzantine Empire's restoration of its dominance in the Mediterranean. This victory also helped usher in the golden age of Justinian I. Belisarius is considered one of the most important generals in Byzantine history, and his victory over the Vandal kingdom is considered one of the most important victories in military history. Belisarius was not only a skilled commander, but also an intelligent, charismatic, and just leader. Belisarius was loved and respected by his soldiers. Belisarius was also interested in art and literature and supported many artists and scientists. Belisarius is one of the most important figures in Byzantine history. His victory over the Vandal kingdom is one of the most important victories of the Byzantine Empire. Belisarius is considered a skilled commander, a just leader and a patron of the arts and literature. Belisarius' legacy is still alive today. By the late 5th century, the Ostrogoths had conquered most of Italy and established the Ostrogothic kingdom. The Ostrogoths were a barbaric tribe and threatened the Byzantine Empire. In 535, Justinian I commissioned Belisarius to conquer the Ostrogothic kingdom. Belisarius was sent to Italy with a small army. However, thanks to Belisarius' intelligence, courage, and military tactics, the Byzantine army won important victories against the Ostrogoths. Belisarius' first success was the defeat of the Ostrogoth king Vitiges at the Battle of Taginae in 536. After this victory, Belisarius captured Rome and other important Ostrogoth cities. In 539, Belisarius entered Ravenna and succeeded in conquering the Ostrogoth kingdom. Belisarius' victories restored the Byzantine Empire's dominance in Italy. After the fall of the Ostrogoth kingdom, the Visigoths also began to threaten the Byzantine Empire. In 552, the Visigoth king Totila invaded Italy and sacked Rome. Justinian I sent a general named Narses against the Visigoths. Narses was a skilled and experienced commander. In 553, he won an important victory against the Visigoths, defeating Totila at the Battle of Taginae. After the Battle of Taginae, Narses reorganized the Byzantine army and led a series of campaigns against the Visigoths. In 555, he defeated the Visigoths at the Battle of Sentinum, restoring the Byzantine Empire's dominance in Italy. Narses' victories contributed significantly to the golden age of the Byzantine Empire. Thanks to the victories of Belisarius and Narses, the Byzantine Empire restored its dominance in the Mediterranean and entered its golden age. These victories are considered one of the most important victories of the Byzantine Empire, and Belisarius and Narses are considered the most important generals in Byzantine history. The golden sands of North Africa shone like a mirror, reflecting the splendor of the Byzantine Empire. The lands inherited from the Romans began to revitalize under Justinian's decisive leadership. Justinian was not only an emperor but also a visionary leader. The reconquest of North Africa was one of his greatest dreams. This dream was not only to expand the borders of the Roman Empire, but also to contribute to the spread of Christianity in these lands. In the middle of the century, Byzantine armies set out for North Africa. Skilled soldiers under the command of General Belisarius advanced rapidly, defeating barbarian tribes such as the Vandals and Berbers. Belisarius was not only a warrior but also a diplomatic genius. By making treaties with the local population and gaining their respect, he was able to consolidate Byzantine rule. Belisarius' victories further fueled Justinian's ambition. Byzantine armies conquered a vast territory stretching as far as Morocco. These conquests made the Byzantine Empire the most powerful state in the Mediterranean. The conquest of North Africa did not only mean territorial gains. The region became an important trading center for the Byzantine Empire. Valuable goods such as gold, ivory, and spices were transported from here to the imperial capital, Constantinople. Byzantine rule also brought about significant cultural and religious change in North Africa. Christianity began to spread in the region, and many Berber tribes accepted the Christian faith. Byzantine art and architecture also left their mark on the land. But this golden age did not last forever. In the 7th century, Arab armies began to invade North Africa. The Byzantine armies were unable to resist this new threat and left the region under Arab control. Byzantine rule in North Africa, although short-lived, left an important mark. This region symbolized the wealth and power of the Byzantine Empire. Byzantine art, architecture, and culture have survived to this day as part of North Africa's heritage. In the 6th century, the borders of the Byzantine Empire faced a threat from the north. Slavic tribes had begun to invade the Balkans and were trying to seize Byzantine territory. Known for their fierce warriors and nomadic lifestyle, these tribes posed a great threat to the empire. The Byzantine Empire mobilized all its forces to resist this invasion. Emperors sent their armies to fight against the Slavs and built fortresses to defend cities. This struggle continued for centuries and both sides suffered great losses. But the Byzantines never gave up. The emperors tried to establish diplomatic relations with the Slavs and encouraged them to accept the Christian faith. Over time, some Slavic tribes accepted their allegiance to the Byzantine Empire and began to serve in the imperial army. Byzantine armies won many important victories against the Slavs. Emperor Justinian defeated the Slavs in the 6th century, reasserting Byzantine rule in the Balkans. In the 7th century, Emperor Leon II managed to stop the Slavic advance towards Constantinople. Behind these victories lay many heroes. Belisarius was a military genius who defeated the Vandals, won North Africa for the Byzantine Empire, and won many victories against the Slavs. Justinian was a leader who tried to revitalize the Byzantine Empire and won important victories in the fight against the Slavs. Leon I was a warrior who stopped the Slavic advance towards Constantinople and protected the borders of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantines used different strategies in the fight against the Slavs. They fought against the Slavs with a strong army and built fortresses to defend cities. They also tried to establish diplomatic relations with the Slavs and encouraged them to accept the Christian faith. The victories over the Slavs had important consequences for the Byzantine Empire. They reasserted Byzantine rule in the Balkans, enriched the empire, and contributed to the spread of Christianity. However, this struggle was not easy. The Slavs' fierce warriors posed a great threat to Byzantine armies. The empire also had limited resources and faced civil wars and political instability. Despite all this, the Byzantines reasserted the empire's power and glory with victories against the Slavs. These victories are considered one of the most important turning points in Byzantine history. The events of the struggle against the Slavs offer many lessons that are still relevant today. It shows how great sacrifices must be made to preserve the independence of a nation. It also emphasizes the importance of diplomacy and military power in international relations. The Byzantine Empire was in its golden age in the 6th century. Under the leadership of Emperor Justinian and his wife Theodora, the empire reached its peak not only in terms of political and military power, but also culturally and artistically. Iconic buildings such as Hagia Sophia were built, mosaic art enjoyed its golden age, and literature took on a new dimension under Justinian and Theodora. In 532, after the Nika revolt, Emperor Justinian and his wife Theodora decided to build a monument to symbolize the power and glory of the empire. This monument was Hagia Sophia. The construction of Hagia Sophia began in 532 and was completed in just 5 years. This was an incredible achievement for the time. Hagia Sophia was remarkable not only for its size and grandeur, but also for its architectural style. In this building, the most important elements of Byzantine architecture, the dome and arches, were skillfully used. The interior of Hagia Sophia was decorated with gold leaf mosaics and marbles. These mosaics depict scenes from the Bible and portraits of Byzantine emperors. The construction of Hagia Sophia ushered in the golden age of Byzantine architecture. During this period, many churches and palaces were inspired by Hagia Sophia. These buildings showed the wealth and power of the Byzantine Empire to the whole world. The Byzantine Empire was one of the most important centers of mosaic art. Mosaic art was used in many iconic buildings such as Hagia Sophia, the Basilica of San Vital in Ravenna, and the Kora Church in Istanbul. Byzantine mosaics were made with incredible detail and skill. They depict scenes from the Bible, images of saints and members of the Byzantine imperial family. Mosaic art is an important form of expression reflecting the religious and artistic traditions of the Byzantine Empire. Byzantine painting also showed a significant development during this period. Byzantine painters created religious paintings such as icons and frescoes. These paintings showed the delicacy and beauty of Byzantine art. Justinian and Theodora were not only political and military leaders, but also patrons of literature. Many important writers and poets produced their works during this period. Justinian is known for the codification of Byzantine law. This codification is known as the Corpus Juris Civilis and formed the basis of modern legal systems. Justinian also supported the works of historians such as Procopius. Theodora is one of the most important figures in Byzantine literature. Theodora was a leader who championed women's rights and emphasized education. She also inspired many poets and writers. The Byzantine Empire also showed important developments in education and philosophy. Byzantine schools taught ancient Greek and Roman philosophy and knowledge. These schools taught subjects such as theology, law, medicine, and mathematics. Byzantine philosophy is a synthesis of ancient Greek and Christian philosophical traditions. Many important philosophers produced their works during this period. Philosophers such as John Philoponus, Maximus the Confessor, and Simeon the New Theologian are among the most important representatives of Byzantine philosophy. The Golden Age of the Byzantine Empire was an important period in political, military, cultural, and artistic terms. Iconic buildings such as Hagia Sophia were built. Mosaic art enjoyed its golden age. Literature took on a new dimension with Justinian and Theodora. And there were important developments in education and philosophy. The Golden Age of the Byzantine Empire is an important turning point not only for Byzantine history, but also for world history. During this period, the Byzantine Empire became one of the most important powers in Europe and the Middle East. Byzantine culture and art influenced many different regions and made important contributions to the modern world. The reign of Justinian I is considered the golden age of the Byzantine Empire. During this period, the empire reached its political, military, cultural, and artistic peak. However, this glorious period also had an end. Justinian died in 565. After his death, the Byzantine Empire began to decline. Justinian's successors were not as strong and visionary leaders. The empire faced civil wars, rebellions, and external attacks. In the late 6th century, Arab armies began to conquer Byzantine territory. In the 7th century, the Umayyads laid siege to the Byzantine capital, Constantinople. This siege marked the beginning of the end of the Byzantine Empire. In 717, the Umayyads succeeded in conquering Constantinople. This event represents the end of the Byzantine Empire and the beginning of the Middle Ages. The reign of Justinian I is of great historical importance. During this period, the Byzantine Empire became the most powerful state in the Mediterranean. Justinian's legal reforms laid the foundation for modern legal systems. Byzantine art and architecture are still admired today. But the reign of Justinian I also had some negative aspects. Justinian's wars weakened the empire economically. In addition, his religious intolerance led to tensions within the empire. The reign of Justinian I is a saga of the rise and fall of an empire. During this period, the Byzantine Empire won great victories and achieved great successes. At the same time, however, it also made great mistakes. The story of the reign of Justinian I teaches us an important lesson about how a nation can become strong and prosperous and how it can fall. And so we come to one of the most important events of the Middle Ages, the Frankish migrations. Let's start by explaining who the Franks were. The Franks were a people of Germanic origin, known for their fierce warriors who led a nomadic lifestyle. In the 3rd century, they first appeared on the borders of the Roman Empire, and with the weakening of the empire, they began to flock to its lands. In the 4th and 5th centuries, the Franks experienced a great wave of migration. This wave of migration is considered one of the most important reasons for the fall of the Roman Empire. The Franks spread to many parts of Europe and began to reshape the political map by establishing new kingdoms. The most important Frankish kingdoms were the Merovingian and Carolingian dynasties. Founded in the 5th century, the Merovingian dynasty ruled until the 8th century. During this period, the Franks became one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. In the 8th century, the Carolingian dynasty was founded. Under the leadership of Karl the Great, the Frankish kingdoms reached their heyday, and in 800 the Roman Empire was restored. Karl the Great was the most important ruler of the Carolingian dynasty. In 800, Karl the Great was proclaimed Emperor of Rome, and his empire became the most powerful state in Europe. This empire developed not only politically and militarily, but also culturally and artistically. The Franks had a culture based on Germanic traditions and Christian faith. The Franks also produced important works of art and literature and contributed to the cultural development of Europe. The legacy of the Franks is still felt today. Traces of the Franks can be seen in many areas, such as the development of feudalism, the pioneer of the Renaissance in shaping the political map of Europe. Clovis is one of the most important Frankish kings. Born in 481, Clovis became the most powerful king of the Merovingian dynasty. Clovis' life and rise is the story of how the Franks became a major power in Europe. Clovis was born in 481, the son of Childeric, king of the Salian Frankish tribe. His father Childeric was a powerful king who tried to unite the Frankish lands. Not much is known about Clovis' childhood, but it is known that he learned the skills of war and leadership from his father. In 481, Clovis was only 15 years old when his father Childeric died. Clovis had to fight for the throne. Clovis defeated his rivals and became king of the Salian Franks in 486. After Clovis came to the throne, he began to expand Frankish territory. Clovis enlarged the Frankish kingdom by defeating neighboring Germanic tribes. In 496, he defeated the Alemannians and became the most powerful king of the Franks. One of Clovis' most important decisions was to convert to Christianity. In 508, Clovis became a Christian with the influence of his wife Clotilde. Clovis' conversion to Christianity led to a significant political and religious change for the Franks. Clovis declared Christianity the official religion of the Frankish kingdom and had many churches and monasteries built. Clovis ruled as an absolute monarch. To consolidate the king's power, Clovis established a legal system known as the Salic law. Clovis also made Paris, one of the most important cities of the Frankish kingdom, the capital. Clovis is one of the most important Frankish kings. Clovis' conquests and his conversion to Christianity helped the Franks become a major power in Europe. Clovis is considered the most powerful king of the Merovingian dynasty and laid the foundations of the Frankish kingdom. There are many reasons for Clovis' success. Clovis was an intelligent and charismatic leader. Clovis was also a skilled soldier and diplomat. Clovis was able to unite the Frankish kingdom by converting to Christianity. Clovis was criticized for ruling as an absolute monarch. Clovis used violence to suppress pagans. It was also debated whether Clovis' conversion to Christianity was sincere. The Battle of Soissons was fought in 486 between the Frankish king Clovis and the Roman general Syagrius. This battle marked the end of Roman rule in Gaul, France, and the rise of the Franks as a rising power in Europe. In the 5th century, the Roman Empire began to weaken. Taking advantage of this weakening, Germanic tribes began to invade Roman lands. Franks were one of these invading tribes. The Frankish king Clovis defeated the neighboring Germanic tribes, enlarged the Frankish kingdom, and became a powerful leader. In 486, Clovis marched on the Roman-held city of Soissons. The Roman general Syagrius sent an army to Soissons to stop the Frankish army. The Battle of Soissons took place in the fall of 486. At the beginning of the battle, the Romans had the advantage, but Clovis managed to split the Roman army in two and defeated the Romans. The Roman general Syagrius was captured in battle and later executed. The Battle of Soissons marked the end of Roman rule in Gaul. With this victory, the Franks became a rising power in Europe. Clovis captured many Roman cities and expanded the Frankish kingdom after the Battle of Soissons. The Battle of Soissons is an important turning point in European history. It marked the end of Roman rule in Europe and the beginning of the rise of the Germanic tribes. The Battle of Soissons consolidated the reputation and power of the Frankish king Clovis. The Normans were one of the most powerful Germanic tribes in Europe in the 5th century. The Frankish king Clovis wanted to expand the borders of the Frankish kingdom and consolidate his dominance in Europe by defeating the Normans. In 496, Clovis won a series of victories against the Alemannians and established the Rhine River as the border of the Frankish kingdom. In 496, the Alemannian king Sigebert began raiding Frankish territory. Clovis took action to counter these Alemannian attacks. Clovis organized a strong army to defeat the Alemannians. In 496, Clovis fought two major battles with the Alemannians. The first battle took place at the Battle of Tolbiac. In this battle, Clovis defeated the Alemannians and killed the Alemannian king Sigebert. The second battle took place at the Battle of Breisach. In this battle, too, Clovis defeated the Alemannians and abolished the Alemannian kingdom. Clovis' victories against the Alemannians enabled the Frankish kingdom to expand its borders and consolidate its dominance in Europe. The Rhine River became the western border of the Frankish kingdom. With these victories, Clovis became the most powerful king in Europe. The victories against the Alemannians made the Frankish kingdom one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. These victories cemented Clovis' fame and power and strengthened the foundations of the Frankish kingdom. There were many reasons why Clovis fought against the Alemannians. Clovis wanted to expand the borders of the Frankish kingdom and consolidate his dominance in Europe. Also, Clovis had converted to Christianity and the Alemannians were a pagan people. Clovis wanted to defeat the Alemannians and convert them to Christianity. Clovis's victories against the Alemans dramatically changed the political map of Europe. The Frankish kingdom became the most powerful kingdom in Europe, and Clovis was recognized as the most powerful king in Europe. Clovis' victories also contributed to the spread of Christianity in Europe. In the late 5th century, the Visigoths controlled a large part of Gaul, France. The Visigoths were one of the Germanic tribes that took advantage of the weakening of the Romans. The Frankish king Clovis wanted to defeat the Visigoths and incorporate all of Gaul into the Frankish kingdom. In 507, Clovis defeated the Visigoth king Alaric II at the Battle of Vouille and took control of Gaul. The Visigoths had adopted Arianism, a sect of Christianity. Clovis, on the other hand, accepted the Orthodox sect of Christianity. This religious difference created tension between Clovis and the Visigoths. Clovis also wanted to include all of Gaul in the Frankish kingdom. The Visigoths did not want to give up control of Gaul. The Battle of Vouille took place in 507 near Poitiers. Clovis assembled a strong army to defeat the Visigoth king Alaric II. In the battle, Clovis defeated the Visigoth army and killed Alaric II. The Battle of Vouille is one of the most important Frankish victories against the Visigoths. With this victory, Clovis incorporated all of Gaul into the Frankish kingdom. Clovis became the most powerful king in Europe after the Battle of Vouille. The Battle of Vouille dramatically changed the political map of Europe. The Frankish kingdom became the most powerful kingdom in Europe, and Clovis was recognized as the most powerful king in Europe. The Battle of Vouille also contributed to the spread of the Orthodox sect of Christianity in Europe. In the 5th century, Europe was undergoing great change after the weakening of the Romans. Germanic tribes were invading Roman lands and establishing new kingdoms. The Franks were one of these invading tribes. After ascending to the throne in 481, the Frankish king Clovis undertook a series of conquests to expand the Frankish kingdom and make it a powerful kingdom in Europe. After his accession, Clovis expanded the Frankish kingdom by defeating neighboring Germanic tribes. In 496, he defeated the Alemannians and established the Rhine as the border of the Frankish kingdom. In 507, he defeated the Visigoth king Alaric II at the Battle of Vouille and incorporated all of Gaul into the Frankish kingdom. With Clovis' conquests, the Frankish kingdom became one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. Clovis expanded the borders of the kingdom by incorporating all of Gaul into the Frankish kingdom. Clovis also established a legal system known as the Law of the Salic, which kept order in the Frankish kingdom. In 508, Clovis was crowned king in a glorious ceremony in Reims. This ceremony marked the formal establishment of the Frankish kingdom. Clovis converted to Christianity at his coronation and declared Christianity the official religion of the Frankish kingdom. Clovis is one of the most important Frankish kings. Clovis' conquests and conversion to Christianity helped the Franks become a major power in Europe. Clovis is considered the most powerful king of the Merovingian dynasty and laid the foundations of the Frankish kingdom. The conversion of the Frankish king Clovis to Christianity in 508 is one of the most important turning points in European history. This event led to a radical political and religious change in the Frankish kingdom. The reasons behind Clovis' conversion to Christianity and its consequences for the Frankish kingdom in Europe have been debated by historians for many years. Some historians believe that Clovis converted to Christianity out of sincerity, while others believe that Clovis made this decision for political reasons. Clovis's wife Clotilde was a devout Christian who persuaded Clovis to convert to Christianity, which may have triggered Clovis's interest in Christianity. In addition, Clovis' prayers to the Christian God at the Battle of Tolbiac and his victory in that battle may have reinforced Clovis' belief in Christianity. However, it is also clear that faith was not the only reason behind Clovis' acceptance of Christianity. Christianity was the official religion of the Roman Empire, and Clovis wanted to get closer to the Roman elite and the Christian church by converting to Christianity. Clovis also wanted to unite the Frankish kingdom by converting the pagan Franks to Christianity and to ensure unity and solidarity in the kingdom. After Clovis converted to Christianity, Christianity began to spread rapidly in the Frankish kingdom. Clovis encouraged the spread of Christianity by destroying pagan temples and building Christian churches. Clovis also tried to convert the pagan Franks to Christianity. Missionaries also played an important role in the spread of Christianity. Irish missionaries came to the Frankish kingdom to explain Christianity to the Franks and convert them to Christianity. The relations between the church and the Frankish kingdom were complicated. The church had considerable power in the Frankish kingdom. The church had a say in the administration of the kingdom and controlled the educational and cultural system of the kingdom. There were also tensions between the king and the church from time to time. These tensions usually stemmed from political issues. But in general, there was cooperation and harmony between the church and the kingdom. Clovis' conversion to Christianity had many important consequences for the Frankish kingdom in Europe. Some of these consequences are as follows. The Frankish kingdom became one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. Christianity became the official religion of Europe. The church became an important power in Europe. European culture and civilization were deeply influenced by Christianity. Clovis' conversion to Christianity was an important event that changed the history of Europe. There are many different opinions about the causes and consequences of this event. Regardless, Clovis' conversion to Christianity was a turning point that radically changed the political and religious landscape of Europe and influenced the course of European history. The Frankish king Clovis I converted to Christianity in 508, marking an important turning point in European history and making the Frankish kingdom one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. After Clovis' death 511, the Frankish kingdom was divided among his sons, which weakened the kingdom. Clovis expanded the Frankish kingdom, taking control of all of Gaul and becoming one of the most powerful kings in Europe. He converted to Christianity, making the Frankish kingdom the leader of the Christian world. Clovis established a legal system known as the Salic law, which kept order in the Frankish kingdom and improved the kingdom's system of government. After Clovis' death, the Frankish kingdom was divided between his sons, which led to the weakening of the kingdom. Throne fights and civil wars between Clovis' sons and grandsons wore the kingdom down. The Frankish kingdom was reunited by the Carolingian dynasty in the 8th century. but the weakening of this dynasty led to its fragmentation again in the 9th century. After Clovis' death, the Frankish kingdom was divided among his sons, and a dynasty known as the Merovingian dynasty was established. The first kings of the Merovingian dynasty were strong and capable leaders and continued to expand the kingdom. However, in the 7th century, the kings of the Merovingian dynasty became weak and incompetent. This led to the weakening and fragmentation of the kingdom. There were many reasons for the weakening of the Merovingian dynasty. Some of them are as follows: throne fights. Kings in the Merovingian dynasty often fought each other for the throne. These wars weakened the kingdom and depleted its resources. Weakness of kings. The last kings of the Merovingian dynasty were weak and incompetent. They were incapable of ruling the kingdom and failed to maintain its strength. Power of the nobles. During the Merovingian dynasty, the nobility gained more and more power in the kingdom. The nobles began to control the kings and played an important role in the administration of the kingdom. Economic difficulties. During the Merovingian dynasty, the Frankish kingdom faced economic difficulties. This weakened the kingdom and negatively affected the welfare of its people. The weakening of the Merovingian dynasty led to the disintegration of the Frankish kingdom. In the 8th century, it was reunited by the Carolingian dynasty. But with the weakening of this dynasty, the kingdom fell apart again in the 9th century. Clovis I was an important leader who built the Frankish kingdom into one of the most powerful kingdoms in Europe. However, after Clovis' death, the Frankish kingdom was divided among his sons, which led to its weakening. The weak kings of the Merovingian dynasty and the growing power of the nobility led to the fragmentation of the kingdom. The Frankish kingdom was reunited by the Carolingian dynasty in the 8th century, but the weakening of this dynasty led to its fragmentation again in the 9th century. Clovis' legacy is complex. Clovis was an important leader who built the Frankish kingdom into a powerful kingdom and changed the political and religious landscape of Europe. However, after Clovis' death, the Frankish kingdom weakened and disintegrated. In the 8th century, with the weakening of the Merovingian dynasty, the Frankish kingdom fell apart. During this period, the kingdom was characterized by civil wars and political turmoil. However, in the late 8th century, a strong leader named Pepin the Short emerged and began to reunite the Frankish kingdom. Pepin the Short's son Charlemagne ascended the throne in 768 and made the Frankish kingdom one of the most powerful in Europe. Pepin the Short consolidated his royal power by establishing close relations with the nobility and the church in the Frankish kingdom. Pepin the Short also cooperated with the papacy to legitimize the kingdom. Pepin the Short's son Charlemagne continued the work his father had started to reunite and strengthen the kingdom. Charlemagne reigned as king of the Frankish kingdom for more than 40 years. During this period, Charlemagne made the Frankish kingdom the largest and most powerful kingdom in Europe. Charlemagne organized many expeditions to expand his kingdom and defeated many peoples such as the Saxons, Lombards, and Avars. Charlemagne is known not only for his military achievements, but also for his cultural and educational work. Charlemagne gave his kingdom a Renaissance period and promoted education and culture. Charlemagne opened many schools and libraries in his kingdom and invited scholars and artists to the royal court. After Charlemagne's death 814, the Frankish kingdom fell apart again. However, the legacy of the Carolingian dynasty left an important mark on European history. Under the Carolingian dynasty, unity and stability were achieved in Europe, education and culture flourished, and the political and religious landscape of Europe changed. The Frankish kingdom is one of the most important kingdoms in European history. The Frankish kingdom provided unity and stability in Europe, contributed to the spread of Christianity, and contributed to the development of European culture. The Frankish kingdom had many important influences on European history. Some of these impacts are as follows: unity and reconquest. The Frankish kingdom provided unity and stability in Europe. By controlling a large part of Europe, the Frankish kingdom ensured a long period of peace in Europe. Spread of Christianity. The Frankish kingdom contributed to the spread of Christianity. Frankish kings accepted Christianity as the official religion of the kingdom and encouraged the spread of Christianity. Development of culture. The Frankish kingdom contributed to the development of European culture. The Frankish kings encouraged education and culture and opened many schools and libraries in their kingdom. Birth of feudalism. The Frankish kingdom contributed to the birth of feudalism. Frankish kings established a feudal system by giving their lands to noblemen. The Frankish kingdom is one of the most important kingdoms in European history. The Frankish kingdom changed the history of Europe by providing unity and stability in Europe, contributing to the spread of Christianity and contributing to the development of European culture. While this was happening in medieval Europe, something very different was about to happen in the Middle East, in a city in the middle of the desert called Mecca. In the 6th century, the Arabian Peninsula was a politically and religiously fragmented region. Many different tribes and kingdoms controlled the peninsula, and there were frequent wars between these groups. The religious beliefs of the peninsula were also diverse. Many Arabs worshipped idols, while others believed in monotheistic religions such as Christianity or Judaism. The social structure of the Arabian Peninsula was also very complex. Tribes formed the basis of Arab society, and each tribe had its own leaders and traditions. The status of women varied from tribe to tribe. In some tribes, women were relatively free, while in other tribes, women were dominated by men. The economy of the Arabian Peninsula was also largely based on nomadic animal husbandry. Arabs raised camels, sheep, and goats, and used these animals for trade. The trade routes passing through the Arabian Peninsula were also important for the economy of the region. Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca in 570. He was a baby when his father died and was raised by his mother. As a young man, Muhammad worked in trade and was known for his honesty and trustworthiness. At the age of 25, Muhammad married a wealthy widow named Khadija. He had 6 children from this marriage. At the age of 40, while meditating in a cave on Mount Hira, Muhammad was given the prophetic mission by an angel named Gabriel. After receiving the first revelation, Muhammad began to preach Islam to the pagans of Mecca. His preaching was opposed by the Meccan elite, and Muhammad and his followers began to be persecuted. Before moving on to the birth of Islam and the conquests of the Islamic Empire, let us briefly introduce Islam. The Quran is the text revealed to the Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel and is considered the holy book of Islam. The Quran is written in Arabic and consists of 114 surahs, chapters. Each surah consists of verses, short texts. The Quran is a comprehensive book that contains not only religious texts, but also many different subjects such as history, law, ethics, and philosophy. The Quran is a guiding light and guide to life for Muslims. The Quran has been studied and interpreted by Muslim scholars over the centuries. The interpretation of the Quran has given rise to different sects and movements. Despite the different interpretations, all Muslims believe that the Quran is the word of Allah. To understand the Quran, it is important to know the Arabic language. Translations of the Quran are available for Muslims who do not speak Arabic. Quran translations help to convey the message of the Quran to different languages and cultures. The basic principles of Islam are Tawhid, the belief that Allah is one and only. Prophethood, belief in the Prophet Muhammad as the messenger of God. Angels, belief in angels. Books, belief in holy books, such as the Torah, the Bible, and the Psalms. Destiny, believing that everything is predetermined by God. Hereafter, believing that we will be resurrected after death and be held accountable. In addition to these basic principles, there are many other beliefs and practices in Islam. Muslims perform acts of worship such as praying, fasting, giving zakat, and going on pilgrimage. Muslims also try to follow moral values such as being honest, fair, and compassionate. In 622, the Prophet Muhammad and his followers fled persecution in Mecca and migrated to the city of Medina. This migration is known as the Hijra and is considered the starting point of the Islamic calendar. In Mecca, Muhammad and his followers began to be persecuted by the pagan elite. The Meccans saw Muhammad's preaching as a threat and tried to silence him. Muhammad and his followers realized that they could not live in peace and security in Mecca and therefore decided to migrate to Medina. Muhammad and his followers made the secret and dangerous journey from Mecca to Medina. The journey took about a month and the travelers faced many difficulties. The Meccans pursued Muhammad and made it difficult for the travelers to find food and water. When Muhammad and his followers arrived in Medina, they were warmly welcomed by the Medinans. They provided the Muslims with shelter and food and began to build a community with them. In Medina, Muhammad established the Islamic State and became the first caliph of Islam. In Medina, Muhammad drafted a constitution and established a system to govern the city. Muhammad also built a mosque in Medina and provided a place for Muslims to worship. In Medina, Muslims were able to live in peace and security. Medina became the center of Islam, and it was from Medina that Islam began to spread throughout the world. Hijra is an important turning point in the history of Islam. The Hijra enabled Muslims to escape persecution and establish a new society. Hijra also contributed to the institutionalization and strengthening of Islam. Hijra is also of great importance today. The Hijra inspires Muslims to defend their faith in the face of adversity and make a new start. It also reminds Muslims of the importance of tolerance and peaceful coexistence. The Hijra is not only a story of migration, but also a story of faith and courage. The Hijra enabled Muslims to escape persecution, build a new society, and contribute to the development of Islam. The message of the Hijra remains relevant today and inspires Muslims to stand up for their faith in the face of adversity and make a new start. The Islamic State established in Medina after the Hijra faced attacks from the Meccan polytheists. These attacks led to 3 important battles, known as the battles of Badr, Uhud, and the Trench. These battles are not only military conflicts, but also stories of faith, courage, and sacrifice. The Battle of Badr began 2 years after the Hijra, when the Meccan polytheists attacked Medina with a large army. Despite being outnumbered, the Muslims, under the leadership of Prophet Muhammad, and with the strength of their faith in Allah, won victory over the Meccans. In this battle, 70 Meccans were killed and 70 Meccans were taken prisoner. The Battle of Badr is considered Islam's first major victory and played an important role in strengthening Islam. 1 year after the Battle of Badr, the Meccans attacked the Muslims again on Mount Uhud in revenge. In this battle, the Muslims were defeated due to some mistakes and lack of discipline. Prophet Muhammad was also wounded in the Battle of Uhud. 70 Muslims were martyred and 30 Muslims were taken prisoner. The Battle of Uhud taught the Muslims a hard lesson and raised concerns for the future of Islam. After the Battle of Uhud, the Meccans attacked Medina again with a large army. The Muslims dug a moat around the city of Medina to protect it and resisted the Meccans besieging it for a long time. The Meccans could not sustain the siege and were forced to retreat. The Battle of the Trench was an important victory that demonstrated the defensive skills of the Muslims and enabled them to protect Medina. 20 Muslims were martyred in this battle. The battles of Badr, Uhud, and the Trench are important battles that determined the fate of Islam in its early years. These battles tested the faith and determination of Muslims, contributed to the strengthening of Islam, and occupy an important place in Islamic history. Many heroic stories and dramatic events took place in these battles. The defeat of the Meccan leaders one by Hazrat Ali in the Battle of Badr, the martyrdom of Hazrat Hamza in the Battle of Uhud, and the attempt to shoot Hazrat Muhammad with an arrow in the Battle of the Trench are among the unforgettable moments of these battles. The battles of Badr, Uhud, and the Trench are important events that show the difficulties faced by Islam in its early years and the heroism shown by Muslims against these difficulties. These battles contributed to the strengthening of Islam and the spread of the Islamic faith. The battles of Badr, Uhud, and the Trench are not only military conflicts, but also stories of faith, courage, and sacrifice. The drama and heroism of these battles continue to inspire Muslims today. These battles are one of the most important turning points in Islamic history and played an important role in the development and strengthening of Islam. The Islamic State established in Medina after the Hijra was a community of not only Muslims but also people of different religions and ethnic backgrounds. To ensure peace and unity among these different groups, Prophet Muhammad signed an agreement known as the Treaty of Medina. This treaty is an important turning point in Islamic history and played an important role in strengthening Islam. From time to time, there were tensions and disagreements between different groups living in Medina. In order to resolve these tensions and disputes and to ensure peace and unity in Medina, Prophet Muhammad prepared the Treaty of Medina. The Treaty of Medina had 47 articles. These articles guaranteed the rights and freedoms of all groups living in Medina. Some important articles of the treaty were as follows. All groups living in Medina are under the security of life and property. People of different religions and ethnic origins can live together in peace. The groups that are parties to the treaty cannot attack each other. Disputes will be resolved peacefully. The city of Medina will be defended together against external attacks. The Treaty of Medina ensured peace and unity in Medina. Thanks to this agreement, tensions and disputes between different groups were resolved and Medina became a strong center of Muslims. the Treaty of Medina played an important role in the strengthening and spread of Islam. The Treaty of Medina is considered an important document not only for the groups living in Medina, but for all Muslims. It laid the foundation for a model of society in which people of different religions and ethnic backgrounds could live together in peace. The principles of the Treaty of Medina are still relevant today and continue to inspire a world of tolerance and peace. The drafting and signing of the Treaty of Medina is a demonstration of Prophet Muhammad's belief in peace and unity and his leadership skills. This agreement contributed to the strengthening and spread of Islam by ensuring peace and unity among different groups. The principles of the Treaty of Medina remain relevant today and continue to inspire us to build a peaceful and just world for all people. The story of the Treaty of Medina shows us how important it is to maintain peace and unity among different groups. It reminds us that tolerance and respect must always be at the forefront, and that it is always possible to find solutions through peaceful means. The Islamic State, established in Medina after the Hijra, grew and strengthened rapidly under the leadership of the Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad played an important role not only as a religious leader, but also as a political and military leader. In 632, the death of the Prophet Muhammad caused great sadness in the Islamic community. After Muhammad's death, the future of Islamic society became uncertain. So what happened after Muhammad? What path did Islam follow? The answer to these questions lies in the important events that took place after the Prophet Muhammad's death. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, Muslims had to decide who would lead them. This decision was made at a meeting of the companions. At this meeting, Prophet Abu Bakr was elected as caliph. Abu Bakr was one of the closest friends of Prophet Muhammad and one of the first 4 caliphs of Islam. After Abu Bakr was elected caliph, Islamic armies continued their conquests. Thanks to these conquests, Islamic lands expanded rapidly. Important regions such as Syria, Iraq, and Iran were conquered. During the Caliphate of Hz. Abu Bakr, the Islamic State became a powerful and respected state. Hz. Umar is one of the most important and respected leaders in Islamic history. Elected as caliph in 634 after the death of Prophet Abu Bakr, Prophet Umar made Islam a symbol of peace and justice during his 23-year caliphate. During this long and brilliant period, Islamic lands expanded rapidly and Islamic civilization made great progress. Hz. Umar adopted a fair and honest administration approach. During his caliphate, he ensured that all citizens were given equal rights and did not neglect to help the poor and oppressed. Thanks to this fair administration, the Islamic State became an attractive place not only for Muslims but also for people of other religions. During the reign of Hz. Umar, Islamic armies made conquests with incredible speed. Important regions such as Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Palestine, and North Africa were conquered. Thanks to these conquests, Islamic lands reached the widest borders in its history. There are several important reasons why conquest took place so rapidly during the reign of Hazrat Umar. A strong and disciplined army. Hazrat Umar established a strong and disciplined army. This army played an important role during the conquests. Just and meritorious commanders. Hazrat Umar appointed commanders of merit to lead the army. These commanders led their army successfully during the conquests. supported the local population. Hazrat Umar respected the religion and freedom of the local people in the conquered areas. As a result, many local people converted to Islam and supported the conquests. The appeal of Islam was an attractive religion for many people at the time. Its message of justice, equality, and peace attracted many people to Islam. The conquests made during the reign of Hazrat Umar had many important results. The expansion of Islamic territory during the reign of Hz. Umar. Islamic lands reached the widest borders in its history. Development of Islamic civilization. Thanks to the conquests, Islamic civilization made great progress. The spread of Islam. Thanks to the conquests, Islam spread to many parts of the world. Development of world trade. Thanks to the conquests, there was a significant development in world trade. E.g. Umar was an important leader who left his mark in the history of Islam. He is still revered today for his just rule, conquests, and contributions to Islamic civilization. The legacy of Hazrat Umar continues to be a source of inspiration for today's Muslims. Some important conquests. Conquest of Egypt. 640. Egypt was one of the most important conquests during the reign of Hazrat Umar. The conquest of Egypt ensured the dominance of Islam in Africa. Conquest of Syria. 636. The conquest of Syria was an important victory against the Byzantine Empire. Conquest of Iraq. 636. The conquest of Iraq ensured the dominance of Islam in Mesopotamia. Conquest of Iran. 651. The conquest of Iran ensured the dominance of Islam in the Middle East. Conquest of Palestine. 638. The conquest of Palestine marks an important religious and historical event for Muslims. Hazrat Uthman was elected caliph after the assassination of Hazrat Umar in 644. During his 12-year caliphate, Hazrat Uthman adopted a peaceful and conciliatory approach to governance. During this period, Islam spread in the newly conquered lands, and Islamic civilization made great progress. Unlike Hg. Umar, Hz. Osman did not attach much importance to military conquests. Instead, he tried to spread Islam peacefully and stabilize the conquered lands. For this purpose, he sent diplomats and missionaries to introduce Islam to different peoples. Hazrat Uthman's peaceful rule was also appreciated by the people of different religions living in the conquered lands. In this way, Islam reached more people and prejudices against Islam were destroyed. Some conquests were also made during the reign of Hazrat Uthman. Thanks to these conquests, Islamic lands expanded a little more. North Africa. During the reign of Hazrat Uthman, some regions in North Africa were conquered. Khorasan. Some conquests were also made in Khorasan, and Islam spread to this region. Cyprus. Cyprus was also an important island conquered during the reign of Prophet Uthman. Thanks to these conquests, Islamic civilization extended to the Mediterranean and Central Asia. Islam spread rapidly during the reign of Hz. Osman. Many people converted to Islam thanks to the peaceful proselytizing efforts. During this period, copies of the Holy Quran were copied and translated into different languages. In this way, the Quran reached a wider audience. The 12-year caliphate of Hazrat Uthman is considered a period of peace and prosperity in Islamic history. During this period, the conquered lands were stabilized, Islam spread, and Islamic civilization made great progress. Hg. Uthman's peaceful and conciliatory approach to governance is still valid today. Copying of the Holy Quran during the reign of Hazrat Uthman. Copies of the Holy Quran were copied and translated into different languages. Unification of Hijaz. The Hijaz region was unified during the reign of Prophet Uthman. Construction of mosques and madrasas. Many mosques and madrasas were built during the reign of Hazrat Uthman. The Caliphate of Hazrat Uthman is an important turning point in Islamic history. During this period, peace and prosperity were established, Islam spread, and Islamic civilization made great progress. The legacy of Hazrat Uthman remains relevant today and gives hope for a peaceful future for all humanity. Prophet Ali is one of the most important and tragic leaders in Islamic history. Elected Caliph in 656 after the assassination of Hazrat Uthman, Hazrat Ali faced many challenges during his 10-year caliphate. This difficult period left a deep mark on Islamic history and threatened the unity of Islam. When Hazrat Ali was elected Caliph, he was faced with the difficult task of preserving the unity and peace of Islam. The tensions following the death of Hazrat Uthman threatened to escalate into civil war. Hazrat Ali made great efforts to calm these tensions and preserve the unity of Islam. However, his efforts were not enough. His attempts to punish those who were held responsible for the death of Hazrat Uthman drew the reaction of some of the companions. These reactions led to two major civil wars, the Battle of Jamal and the Battle of Siffin. In these battles, both armies suffered great losses and the unity of Islam was broken. Despite the difficult rule of Hazrat Ali, Islam continued to spread during this period. Regions such as Khorasan and Sistan were conquered and Islamic lands were expanded. Through these conquests, Islam reached new people and Islamic civilization continued to flourish. The Caliphate of Hazrat Ali is considered a difficult and tragic period in Islamic history. Civil wars and divisions during this period caused great damage to Islam. However, Hazrat Ali was an important leader known for his justice, honesty, and knowledge. A.G. Ali's words and advice are still valid today. His work Nahj al-Balagha is one of the most important works of Islamic literature. Hazrat Ali's legacy is important not only for the history of Islam, but also for all humanity. Hazrat Ali's justice, pacifism, and knowledge are still relevant today and give hope for a peaceful future for all humanity. The Caliphate of Hazrat Ali is an important turning point in Islamic history. Although the civil wars and divisions during this period caused great damage to Islam, it should not be forgotten that Hazrat Ali was an important leader known for his justice, honesty, and knowledge. His words and advice are still relevant today and give hope for a peaceful future for all humanity. Dear viewers, in this video I have shared with you some of the most important empires of the Middle Ages, their conquests and their stories. From the glory days of the Roman Empire to the splendor of the Byzantine Empire, from the rise of the Frankish kingdom to the expansion of the Islamic Empire, this historical journey explores the complex and fascinating world of the Middle Ages. These empires left their mark not only through wars and conquests, but also through developments in art, literature, science, and philosophy. In this video, we also look at important artifacts and figures in these fields. The Middle Ages was a period that affected not only Europe, but the whole world. The developments and changes that took place during this period have also shaped today's world. I hope this video was interesting and gave you some new insights. If you want to know more about the history of the Middle Ages, feel free to ask me in the comments. Also, if you like this video and would like to share it with your loved ones, please don't forget to like and share it. Finally, I would like to ask you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to be notified of our new videos. Thank you.